Hi, my name is Keah Brown. I am a journalist, author, and screenwriter. Growing up, there was nothing I loved more than going to the park up the street from my grandmother's house. I went with my twin sister Leah and my cousins. We'd run through what we called a field of grass, pretending that it was a shortcut to the park when it really wasn't. At the park, we would do things like swing on swings, learn boondoggle. We would take field trips to the other parks to visit the other kids. It was one of the most exciting times of my life. I loved being there and being around my family and the friends I made. When the park day was through, we'd run back through that grass lot to my grandmother's house with grass stains on our clothes and laughter on the tips of our tongues. I grew up as a kid who believed she could do whatever she set her mind to. That was thanks to my mom. Hi, Mom. She bought me every rollerblade, every roller skate, and every bike that my twin sister Leah had and my older brother had. Let me be clear. I can't ride a bike, I can't roller skate, and I certainly can't rollerblade. But I appreciate her confidence in me nevertheless. I was a kid full of joy. I thought life was full of possibility. My cerebral palsy was the last thing on my mind. In fact, I had no concept of what disability was. No one ever brought it up, and everyone treated me just like I was everyone else. I was and I am a dreamer. As a kid, I dreamed about a prince falling in love with me like he did Brandy in Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. I dreamt of the possibility of Story and the 90s remake of Annie, which is my favorite, and I'm a little biased, but I think it's the best. It starred Audrey McDonald. And I was again floored when I watched the Rappin' Rhymin' special voiced by Whoopi Goldberg. Watching those things and being able to see those people live out the dreams I had for myself allowed me to dream bigger. By the time I got to high school, I was dreaming about being on red carpets with Reese Witherspoon and Mindy Kaling long before they ever starred in A Wrinkle in Time together. I let my dreams carry me through most of my childhood. I was a dreamer until the age of 12. That's when everything changed for me. When I was 12, a classmate in the cafeteria began making fun of me and my limp. I walk with a visible limp, and he began making fun of it like it was a joke. The thing is, I didn't know what was happening. My friends defending me was what alerted me to what he was doing. I'm so grateful that I had friends willing to defend me, even at that age when you're just trying to figure out who you are and not make too many mistakes along the way. So grateful for them. And it really made me think, what was wrong with me that he could ever, think anything bad or make fun of me. Again, I grew up as a kid not even realizing she was disabled at all because everybody treated me the same way as my siblings, as my cousins, as anybody in the neighborhood. And so I made some silly excuse and said I had to use the bathroom. And I went to the bathroom watching myself walk for the first time in the mirror. And I started to cry because I had no idea that I was limping at all. I had no idea that I was different and that difference somehow meant that I was worse or something to be made fun of. And the entire time I thought of the way he made fun of me, and that played in the back of my mind. And it sounds so dramatic, but that day really changed me for the rest of my life because I began to resent myself. I began to be angry at my body and at God for the way he created me. I began to hurl insults at myself and call myself names under the guise of protecting myself, getting ready for war. My insults were my armor, but the only person I was hurting was myself. I didn't know that yet. And so I spent the rest of middle school, high school, and college doing that work of hurting myself to help myself. And while I was hurting myself and hurting the ways in which I was made by God. I absolutely was loved by my family and friends. They carried me through that time, and I didn't know then. But the idea that I was worthy of love was just so foreign to me. They gave me more love than I ever thought was possible, more love than I ever thought I deserved, because I was so sad and so depressed, and I didn't think that I deserved to be alive. And so by the time I got to college, I was meeting new friends, connecting with my old ones and my family, and I was hoping again for that love that was romantic, for that prince to come and save me, for that person to say, "Hey, Keah, you're good enough. That kid in the cafeteria years ago, he was wrong about you. You're perfect just the way you are." I didn't get that wish, that hope, that dream. But what I got was something just as beautiful, just as important, just as necessary. My ambition. I have always been an unapologetically ambitious person. There is such a stigma around ambition, this idea that we should both be wary of it and make sure that we're not showcasing too much of it because we don't want to alienate other people. My ambition got me to where I am today. My ambition and my drive to see more for myself, to figure out who I wanted to be, got me here. I am a firm believer of speaking things into existence. I spoke 2 books, a Today Show appearance, a New York Times byline, an event with Roxane Gay, who is one of my absolute heroes. I spoke a Netflix byline. I spoke so many things into my life through my ambition. And so I'm never going to be apologetic about it. I am never going to tell anyone, especially you, women in particular, women of color, that you should hide your ambition and you should make sure that you're never talking about what you want. Because for me, in my life so far, talking about what I wanted and dreaming about it and working toward it got me to where I am today. And I know it can get you to where you want to go. In 2013, with my ambition in tow, I graduated college, and I believed that I was going to walk out of my college hallways and into the job of my dreams. I was going to be the next great reporter, really focusing in on hard news and tough subjects. I wanted to be the kind of person that I saw on TV that I so admired. Well, that ambition and that confidence was great for me, but it didn't get me a job. In fact, I spent a year getting nothing but rejections. I spent a year getting nothing but no responses sometimes. And so I turned to the internet because as a millennial, I love the internet. And what I did was I started telling my stories online. I started talking about what it meant for me to be a Black disabled woman and what it meant for me to love pop culture and be unsure of the ways in which it doesn't love me back. And surprisingly, my career took off. I began publishing in dream after dream publication and making my wildest dreams come true through my written work. And so I started to see the worth in that work, but I didn't see the worth in me yet. So by now, I bet you're wondering how I did it. How did I learn to live when I spent so long ready to die? Well, the key here is effort. I began saying 4 things that I like about myself in the mirror. 4 because 4 is my favorite number. And again, because 4 felt like the most low stakes possible number. I would say things like, "Today, Keah, I like your eyebrows and your nose and your toes and your shoulders." Just anything to get me through that day, something to compliment myself to counteract any negative thought that was inherently easy for me to access. And so I want to tell you today what I like about myself. I like my smile, my passion, my desire to see a world in which disabled people are fully respected and understood and given the room to be who we are in our mainstream social medias and in our mainstream culture at large. I know that 4 things sounds really cheesy, but I highly suggest it. So with my 4 things, I began to see the worth in the writer writing these things that I was so proud of. And every single day I did this work. And in 2016, by the time we got to the end of 2016, I should say, we were in a place of feeling good and happy that we were waking up every day. And so by February 2017, I wanted to celebrate. And I did so by creating a hashtag called #DisabledAndCute. And that hashtag ended up at the end of a tweet with 4 of my favorite photos. I posted them very quickly because I'm a writer who was always on deadline, and I left Twitter. By the end of the week, we were viral. And then by the end of next week, we were global. Again, I did this to celebrate finally feeling good in my body. But what happened was I felt like I gave disabled people enough permission to feel like they could celebrate themselves with all that they are in every aspect of their life, no matter what walk of life they are in. And so for me, the biggest thing that happened with that hashtag was fostering a community of people ready and willing to start their own journeys towards self-love. Later that year, I would meet my literary agent, hi Alex, and we would craft a proposal of essay collection about Blackness and womanhood and pop culture, about my life so far. And then that collection would go on to sell, and by August 2019, my book, The Pretty One, was out in stores everywhere, and I began talking to readers about their own journeys towards self-love. And I've been talking about how it is important that we try and we start somewhere, because that is what we're waiting to do. Start somewhere. I want to tell you what I told a couple of readers along the way after my events, after I said things that I like about myself the morning of. Not everything is going to be perfect, and sometimes we don't know where to start. But again, trying is key. Here, I'll give you your first 2 of your 4 things that I want you to say when this video is over. 1, clearly you have great taste in video content because you're watching this. Thank you. 2, you are a person who makes someone smile. Someone in your life is so happy that you choose them every day. Whether it's your friend, a loved one, a family member, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your partner, whatever. There is someone in your life so happy that you woke up this morning, even if it's you. Great, now you only have 2 of your own to think of. I want to leave you with this. Joy is not always a guarantee. Not every day will be happy, will be fair, will be just, will be exciting, will be even just ordinary. Sometimes we will have days where we feel low and everything is hard. Maybe we're having a hard day at work or at home or at school. Maybe life just feels unfair. But what I've learned is this: saying 4 things, trying to make sure that you're betting on yourself along the way, helps immensely. Because even though it will feel weird at times, uncomfortable or silly even, I promise you, no one has to know you're doing it, and you'll feel better every single day having that task in mind. We are not free, truly, until we are all free. And it is our duty, our joy, and our job to make sure that we are fostering ambition, hope, and joy in ourselves and in others. I fully believe that who you are and who you're going to be will be the best versions of yourselves. But you have to get there. You have to keep going, keep fighting, and keep moving. And remember that your hope, your joy, your dreams, and your happiness matter. And you have to let them meet you where you are, in whatever form they suit you. I am rooting for you. Let's keep going. Thank you so much.